Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Blacklogic. So President Biden has taken a very decisive step in protecting national security. In this, what he has done is signing a groundbreaking executive order aimed at strengthening cybersecurity protocols. This is something that I think there should have always been in place, even before Biden's term, even before Trump's term, even before Obama's term. But nonetheless, this was to strengthen cybersecurity protocols, and this directive demands that software companies working with federal operations demonstrate robust defense against potential breaches, specifically targeting espionage risks from Chinese intelligence. And I'll throw in just one more as well. China was named, but Russia should be named too. So against Russian and Chinese intelligence. This bold measure underscores the administrative proactive approach in his last days in office to safeguard sensitive government data and countering foreign threats. This is something that should have been done a very long time ago. And I'm not putting the burden on Joe Biden, but of course, he's doing all of these things to kind of polish up his legacy as he's leaving out. Officially, this may be his last day, especially in office. I don't know if he's going to work through the weekend just to sign more executive orders or sign more legislation. We just don't know, because good old Joe has been doing a lot of things lately. Also, President Biden's term approaching its conclusion, thank God. And he is not slowing down, but instead he's doubling down on his policy initiatives. His latest flurry of executive decisions seek to cement his legacy and weave his progressive visions into the nation's policy framework. From domestic programs to foreign relations strategies, President Biden is pushing hard to ensure his administration impact resonates long after he leaves office. He's doing all sorts of things, whether it be from illegal immigration, from steel, from oil, from cybersecurity. Joe Biden is doing a lot. And this will show you guys how busy Joe Biden has been and what Trump essentially may do. Again, rolled back a lot of Biden's record-breaking regulations. But when we look at economics and the legislation and bills that have been signed by each and every president, there is a large difference between Biden and Trump, and even Biden and Obama. Now, Trump and Obama is only 6 policies away, okay? 6 bills away. But when it comes to Biden, we're looking at 80-something bills away. And no one gets close, okay? No one gets close to Biden of the amount of regulatory economic policies he has signed. So again, Trump may be rolling back a great deal of them, which probably led to the inflation, which probably led to a lot of unemployment, which probably led to a lot of jobs leaving America because of all the overregulation. Again, Democrats seems to want to have more government, while Republicans want to kind of cut the fat and make government streamlined and lean and run more efficiently with less fat. Okay. And how would that maybe be? Again, a lot of these regulations that Democrats has proposed on the public to protect, whether it be the environment, your lives, really hasn't seen any significant change in our lives. So hopefully when this new administration takes office on Monday, Trump administration, that things get a lot better, that things get a whole lot better. Now, Mayor Eric Adams, he went to Mar-a-Lago and kissed the ring. Yeah, and a lot of politicians are shocked because, again, the political world with unannounced visits to Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate, again, amid Mayor Adams' allegations of federal corruption, Mayor Adams openly floated the idea of seeking a presidential pardon. From who? Not Joe Biden, but from Donald Trump, sparking intense debate about political survival strategies. This unexpected encounter highlights the unpredictability nature of political alliances and the lengths leaders may go to shield themselves from legal jeopardy. Not only did Mayor Adams floated the idea of receiving a pardon from President Trump, but don't forget that he's on board with deporting a lot of the illegal immigrants in New York now. So is Mayor Eric Adams becoming a Republican slowly but surely? But he did go to Mar-a-Lago, and believe me, when he went there, he was nothing short of bowing down, taking the knee, and we're not talking about in protest, taking a knee and kissing the ring. That's what happened. I don't know if you guys are familiar that UPS has ended its partnership with United States Postal Service, choosing to handle final mile deliveries independently. While this modernization effort aims to improve delivery times, rural customers are already voicing concerns over delays and service disruptions. Compounding issues, some SurePost labels are being rejected, adding to the confusion surrounding the transition. I believe that UPS and United States Postal Service knew that this was going to happen. See, this is where you need change agents, you need Lean Six Sigma people to come in and look at the potential of the process breaking down because of the change. And that's why you may have change management people to come in and say, okay, let's make this change virtually. Let's make this change on paper and see some of the bottlenecks and defects and variations in the process that may occur because we're making this change. And then we can counteract that. We can circumvent the wheel in order for this not to happen. Okay. And when you're making big change like this, and again, this contract is ended in January. So they had all of last year to either renew the contract or to fix the potential problems. And again, they knew the root cause of the issue, but you think they fixed this? Nah. They just left ways, they part ways. And again, the American public are the ones fencing for everything. Now, of course, you guys have been hearing about the quote unquote independent space race against SpaceX and Blue Origin. SpaceX by the way of Elon Musk and Blue Origin by the way of Jeff Bezos. Now, both of these space companies that are American made, American bred, they are funded by NASA, and NASA is funded by the American government. The American government is funded by your tax dollars. So again, a lot of the money that you see billionaires with, especially when it comes to Elon Musk and as well as Jeff Bezos, a lot of them are getting large billion-dollar contracts because they're providing a service to the United States government. Cool. But what's happening is that Blue Origin is reigning supreme over SpaceX. Don't get me wrong. The innovation of Elon Musk and SpaceX has been tremendous. It has been groundbreaking. He was the first to ever use booster rockets detached from the main spaceship and then return the booster rocket to use it again and again and again. But the private space industry continues to face extreme highs and lows because SpaceX Starship encountered its 7th failed test flight. That's right. The Starship encountered its 7th failed test flight, highlighting the immense challenges of advancing space technology. But meanwhile, Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin New Glenn rocket achieved a milestone with a successful launch. We understand that these contracting events emphasize a fierce competition and staggering stakes in the space exploration sector. And again, hopefully I'm around to the point where warp speed is a real thing, okay? We are definitely being advanced in our space technology to the point where we are retrieving booster rockets and reusing them. Again, this is great. But again, I think for me, the real boost in space technology and the advancement therein is getting warp speed, or is traveling at the speed of light. Now, and again, we may not be able to do that as humans because they use all these special apparatuses and fits to space. So the inertia of these space rockets don't just turn human or Homo sapien internal organs into mush. So again, I think robotics and space travel will soon become a thing faster than what we know it. In a significant move for tenant rights, the Federal Trade Commission has filed a lawsuit against Greystar Real Estate Partners. And you guys, if you are renting, whether it be a house or apartment, and you have to look through the many layers of LLCs, because a lot of these real estate companies, they hide behind holding companies, they hide behind multiple LLCs. But if you're renting by the way of Greystar Real Estate Partners, which is the nation's largest apartment landlord, again, look into this. The suit alleges that the company charged tenants millions in undisclosed fees, spotlighting widespread issues in housing market transparency. Now, this landmark case could set a precedent for holding corporate landlords accountable for unfair practices. This is what they've been doing. And there's been a lot of fees that you guys have not been aware of. So again, there may be a lawsuit coming your way. Again, put your name on that ballot, put your name on that roster. Even if it's $10, $15, this is going to change renting as we know it. And if you have the ability within your finances to buy a house, a small house, maybe in a part of town you're not too keen of, I think you should still be interested or look into it. Or maybe you have the money to buy a condo or a tiny house. Look into those things. So renting is a dead end street. Now, I know there's a lot of people, depending on your job, you're a traveling nurse, you're a contractor, you're military. Some of you are just renting, temporarily. So renting is still a need in America because essentially it's a little bit cheaper than owning a home because there's a lot of bills that come with owning a home. But again, there's a lot of these apartments out there that you pay water, that you pay trash for. Now, some of these are included. Of course, most apartments nowadays pay electricity. I remember a time, and I'm a Washington, D.C. native, where, and again, this is a very, very, very long time ago. I moved from D.C. to Maryland, and if you guys are familiar with the DMV area, everything is kind of just D.C. It's just the Maryland jurisdiction. But nonetheless, I had a one-bedroom apartment that I was paying $700 for, and it was all utilities included. So again, that's a steal. You don't really hear all utilities included. And if it is included, most people's rent for a one-bedroom, and I'm thinking in DC, if this is still a thing, we're talking about $1,500 bare minimum, and that's probably not in a really good part of town. But I digress. And you guys are familiar with my channel here. This is Blacklogic, where every Friday is Black Friday. I try to squeeze that in. But I just want to put out some information here for you guys that for a very long time, there has been a myth that Black fathers are not in their children's lives. Yeah, there's some truth to be had that a lot of Black men and women are no longer in partnership in marriage. But that does not mean that the fathers are not involved in their children's life. The whole deadbeat dad, baby daddy that they put on Black society, and this is coming from 2015, about Black fathers being ever so present in their children's lives. I mean, my children's lives, matter of fact, they live with me. But nonetheless, a lot of dads who may not be living with the mom and et cetera, they're still in their children's life. And this is funny to note, and not in a humorous manner, but a lot of my friends, a lot of my friends, they are living with their children. So again, I know there's a part of our society that a lot of our men are not living with the women that they had children with, but this is by the CDC. And they're just backing up and debunking the myth that Black fathers are not involved in their children's life. Yes, we are. And to double down on that, Black dads more involved in activities with their children more than other groups. And this is from January of last year. So this is very, very recent. And you guys can go read this article. I wasn't going to read this article for you guys, but at least was going to give you the headlines all together. Thank you for joining me here this morning. You guys have a great and wonderful day. This is Blacklogic.